This is the beginning of a journey, a 1,000-kilometre trek down a chasm dividing Pakistan and India. Two countries now staring into the nuclear abyss. It starts here, at the junction of the Himalaya and Karakoram, two of the planet's mightiest mountain ranges. We pass K2, the world's second highest peak, on our way to a battlefield like no other on Earth. Our Pakistan Army helicopter stays well below the ridgeline. Any higher and will be exposed to fire from Indian heat-seeking missiles. Climbing to 19,000 feet, we approach our destination, Siachin Glacier. This is Pakistan's front line, the enemy, India, barely 2,000 metres away.
Center correction.
25,000 troops struggling to survive on the roof of the world, facing an equal number of Indians.
Number 1, fire!
It's a world deprived of oxygen, where the simplest movements require huge effort. It's also a graveyard that's claimed 3,000 lives. The number one killer up here is weather and the altitude. In winter, the temperatures get down to -40. Entire patrols have been swept away by avalanches or disappeared into crevices. Others have been felled by the lack of oxygen at this high altitude. Battle casualties due to Indian fire account for a mere 5% of all Pakistan casualties. These men are on the northern end of the front line dividing the disputed state of Kashmir. While a ceasefire line was mapped out in the lower country, no one bothered to negotiate a clear boundary up here. Both sides reasoned the area was uninhabitable, and who, they asked, would want to visit the place. But in the early 80s, Indian Army mountaineering expeditions arrived, followed by armed patrols from both sides. Finally, in 1984, the first shots were fired. The Indians hold the high ground, but pay dearly for their advantage. Every day, 2 of their soldiers are killed or incapacitated by the cold and higher altitude. Pakistani gunners make life even more miserable for any Indian observers hidden on the ridgeline. Muslim Pakistan was created after the 1947 split with Hindu-dominated India. These days, the military embraces its Islamic faith with ever-increasing intensity.
القارية ما القارية وما أدراك ما القارية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية صدق الله مولانا العظيم.
दूसरी पोस्ट के ऊपर जा रहे हैं और आपका फासला जो है काफ़ी है और ये फासला आप लोगों ने जो कि 7 घंटे में कवर करना है और जो भी बंदा जिसको भी कोई बीमार होता है तो आपके पास वायरलेस सेट है, इन टाइम हमें बताना है और उसको इन टाइम जो है इवैक्यूएट करना है।
नारे तकबीर! अल्लाहू अकबर! नारे तकबीर! अल्लाहू अकबर! इस्लाम जिंदाबाद! पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद! पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद!
Both sides are now well dug in. As the Pakistanis ready for another patrol, they know it's pointless attempting to seize the Indian positions. Last time they tried, 150 men died, easy targets as they lumbered up the mountainside through the snow. The brief summer is known as the campaigning season, when both sides do most of the fighting and moving of vital supplies. It's a military stalemate that has two of the world's poorest nations, each spending $2 million a day. By the time each piece of humble roti or bread reaches the mouths of the hungry soldiers, it has cost $20.
Oh, very tasty.
The loneliness of fighting on top of the world also takes its toll. Some embrace their faith with a passion. Others go mad, struck down by what's called Siachin syndrome, brought on by the altitude, stress, and the reality of killing the only other humans they may see in 3 long months up here. "12,000 feet below the front line, we have an appointment with one of Pakistan's Siachin commanders.
We are Muslims, we believe in jihad, and we believe in our cause. And the cause is that ours is a principal stand.
The brigadier claims India has now moved the fight down from the mountains to the heavily populated hills of Kashmir.
I would say that the enemy wants to entice us. That is why he has taken, this battle out of the Siachin area and wants to extend it southwards, not only, towards southwards in the Siachin sector, but also towards Indian-held Kashmir. Indians have also a habit to use the human beings as a shields. They force the population on the other side to be used as porters, to be used, on the jobs which are to be done on the front line for the soldiers, so that if we reciprocate, on the fire, then they are the casualties and they could later be, used, for their mischievous design.
Of course, the Indians say exactly the same things about the Pakistanis. And as we head south, down towards the warmer climes of Kashmir, it becomes apparent that the propaganda campaign is every bit as fierce as the shooting war. We're granted permission to visit the town of Atmaquam, just a few hundred metres over the Pakistan side of the so-called line of control. The only access, a 4-hour drive over a mountain pass, a track with a sheer 2,000-foot drop over the side.